Alright, what's good, son? I'm coming at you with a video that I have felt the need to make for a very long time. I'm not making this a nighttime nostalgia episode because I don't want to make it that long. I don't intend to make this super long, like an hour or anything like that. But I think this is an important video to make, so I'm just making this as its own separate thing. In recent years, I've heard a lot of very, very bad opinions about Pokemon games. Even from my own friends, so I'm here to set the record straight. I saw this video that Shofu did on this topic. He did his own tier list on these games. Garbage tier list. The people in this community, the figureheads and shit, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm gonna come through and give you guys the correct opinions, the straight up facts. We're gonna talk about all the Pokemon games here. I like this tier list in particular because it has the console games as well, like the main console games, and as many of you know, I love the console games, so yeah, I get to put those in my ranking as well because I think some of those are much better than a lot of the mainline games. So let's get into this. How do I rank the fucking mainline Pokemon games? Alright, so straight off the bat, you already know the SS tier. I like that they have this SS tier because there's a lot of games that I've put in the S tier, but you already know Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald go up here in the SS tier above the other S's. These are the best games ever made. Nothing will ever top these games. These are the GOATs. This is the best trio ever. Like when these games came into existence, like that was a major achievement for humankind. Like these are like the Dante's Divine Comedy of video games. All right, like these are a work of art that have cemented their place in history forever. And there's literally nothing wrong with these games. They're amazing, and yeah, they're the best Pokemon games. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald probably never going to be topped ever by any game. All right, now where do I put? I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. Also, another thing I like about this list, it only goes down to D because there are no F Pokemon games. Like you can't give a in the main series. Like look, there's some fucking games that like motherfucking, I don't know, Hey You Pikachu, that might be a fucking F, but there's nothing in the main series that gets an F. All right, the worst game is a D, and that would be. Why are these separated? This is weird. Oh, it's because they did it alphabetical. They haven't organized alphabetically. Alright, so these games would be Pokemon Black and White, the originals. These games are booty cheeks. These games suck dick, nigga. But no, really, I can't say only negative things about these games because there are some redeeming qualities. The music is absolutely amazing. The music in all these games really is amazing, but you know, the Black and White soundtrack actually I think stands out as one of the best in the series. I've always said that the soundtrack is very good. Ever since the games first came out, I've been a big fan of the Black and White soundtrack. Even though I tend to shit on these games for having overall probably the worst new Pokemon in any gen, I do think that did introduce a lot of Pokemon that I really do like. Haxorus, for example. Y'all know I've been fucking with Haxorus since 2011. That man is even before 20. When the games came out in Japan, 2010. You know I was on. I remember the day that Axew got revealed. He was called it was called like Kabago or Kitabago or something like that. That was the Japanese name. I remember the day that nigga got revealed in 2010, and I was on that shit. I knew he was a real one. I knew that he was a real one, and then Haxorus got revealed, and I was like, oh, this is the dude. So they got some good Pokemon. One thing that I long term look forward to in Pokemon would probably be a remake of Black and White, because I do feel like there's a lot there in these games. Like even though I tend to just shit on these games, I actually do want to like them because I feel like there's a lot there, but the execution and just how these games were made is just very poor in my opinion. The storyline does not do anything for me. God, it's so boring. But there are little moments here and there though that I feel like where I'm just like, yeah, there's something here. So I would like to see these games maybe refined, polished a little. Speaking of that topic, I guess I'll talk about my thoughts on Black and White 2. These games, I feel, are significantly better than the originals. I would probably put Black and White 2. Those of you that have watched my LP of Black 2, you know that I'm pretty complimentary of these games. I would put these in B. I think these are significantly better than the original Black and White. Now, what do I think the issue with these games are? As I've said before, the first half, its pacing is just awful, man. It's got a lot of pacing issues in the first half of the game. Like up through those first 4 gyms, it is a grind to get through. And when I first played the games in 2012, I think that was what really turned me off, especially considering I already had a bad taste in my mouth from Black and White. That first half just, if they had made the pacing better there, I feel like they could have done a lot more with these games overall. But they really do bring it together in the second half of the games. There's so many great moments, so many really interesting parts that I feel like the story is a lot more mature and developed. I feel like the region of Unova is much more enjoyable and immersive than in the originals. They really did a lot of good work with the second, with the Black and White 2. But the thing is, I just didn't get to it for so long because I was so turned off by the first half of the game. And similarly, I would say the same thing. Kind of. I think these two are very similar. I think Black and White 2 I think they're very similar to X and Y in that regard, which I would also put in the B tier. I think they're very similar that the first half of the games on both of these have a lot of pacing issues. I didn't beat X and Y until 2016, because when it came out in 2013, it was the same thing as like Black and White 2. I still hadn't beaten Black and White 2 at that point. X and Y comes out. There's so many pacing issues in the first half of the game again, I felt like, and I was not fucking with it. But then, same thing as Black and White 2, once you progress farther in the game and you get past the grind at the beginning, it's fun. I think X and Y are great games. I intend to do an LP of Pokemon X at some point, because there's actually a lot that I want to say about those games, because once I did play through them, I was like, these are good games. Same thing that I did with Black and White 2, so I'd like to do an LP of Pokemon X, because I have a lot of theories for why people really love to talk shit about these games. I would like to get into that a bit more in depth, but not here, not right now. What I do have to say about these games is that I will say that Gen 6, although I think overall the Pokemon are better than Gen 5, Gen 6 was not looking too hot with the Pokemon. Like, I will say they were not sending their best, we'll put it that way. There are not a lot of Gen 6 Pokemon that are memorable to me, probably about equal to Gen 5 in that regard. But I think the region of Kalos is a fine region, and there are some Pokemon that I really do like, just like with Gen 5. And what can I say? There's a unique charm about these games that I really like. So X and Y, for all their flaws, they're getting in the B tier as well here. What should I do now? I want to shit on someone. Alright, here I'm a shit on. I'm gonna shit on the classics right here. Red and Blue, you boys go in D with Black and White. And Yellow, you barely get in C. I'm gonna just put Yellow in C because, you get Pikachu as a starter. You get, you're able to get all 3 of the original Kanto starters in that game. It lends itself to more unique, team building possibilities, I guess. I want to put Yellow above C just because I feel like it's not significantly different from Red and Blue, but it is an interesting concept. I like that it's unique in that you can get all the starters. You start with Pikachu regardless, and you know, there's something to be said for a game like that basically follows the anime, or is, you know, at least lends itself some credence to the anime. Anyways, the reason the red and blue and yellow are really so low is because, dude, I cannot look at these games. They are a fucking eyesore. And it's like, oh, they came out in the 90s. Yeah, that doesn't stop me from shitting on the way they look. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of charm to these games. You know, the nostalgia effect is real, but bro, I just can't look at them. I can't look at them. And they're glitchy as fuck, which can be fun, but you know, it's just a grind all around to play these games. And I would even say the same thing about the Gen 2 games. Like, the Gen 1 and Gen 2 games are just a grind to play. I'm gonna put Gen 2 slightly above. Where's gold, silver, crystal? Those games are just a grind to play. They're slow. That's another thing, is that the old game's so slow. So slow. Eyesore, lots of glitches. And now don't get me wrong on the Gen 2 games. Johto is one of my favorite regions. Like, okay, my favorite region is Hoenn in the mainline series. Hoenn is my favorite. Second is probably Sinnoh, and then third might be Johto. It's either Johto or Alola. Like, I love the Johto region. It's so great. I love it. But these games themselves cannot be salvaged just by, you know, the charm of the region, the great characters, all that. But if a game just hurts your fucking eyes and brain to play, it's got to go a bit lower than that. But don't worry, we're going to be talking about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. These games go in the S tier, you already know. These are the definitive version of the Johto region, and really, in my opinion, the Kanto region. I don't know what my favorite version of the Kanto region is. Now that I think of it, the Kanto region really is not that great. I think a lot of the love of the Kanto region has to do with nostalgia. Obviously, I'm sure that point has been beaten to death on the internet. But you know, Kanto and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's a good after game. There's a lot of fun stuff to do there. But man, just these games aged like fine wine. Like, you can still play these games today. And, like, if I could play through Heart Gold and Soul Silver today and be like, man, this is fun. These are good games. And I've never met anyone who does not like these games. So, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they gotta go in S. And they thank you for just giving us a great version of the Johto region. That beautiful region that we can just look at and play and appreciate without burning our eyes out or having to worry about our fucking cartridge working. Thank you, Game Freak, for Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Truly amazing remakes. As far as remakes go, as remakes in themselves, I would say these are the best remakes made to date. I don't know if they'll ever be topped in terms of just like the quality of remake and like what a remake should be. That being said, though, I also put Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby in the S tier, just because these... Okay, let me break it down for you. These games are so good. I know it's really popular to shit on these games for some reason. Like that bitch nigga Shofu loves to shit on these games. Nah, son. These games are fuego. These remakes were great. They may not have done as much as Heart Gold and Soul Silver did. They may not even be as faithful to the originals Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But you cannot tell me that the Delta episode was not an amazing addition. Like, that in itself is like a game. Like, that in itself could have been a side game. The Delta episode, I feel like, really carries these remakes into the S tier, because people want to talk shit, be like, oh, we didn't get the Battle Frontier in this game. We didn't get Battle Frontier. First of all, half you motherfuckers didn't even play the Battle Frontier in Pokemon Emerald, you bitch-ass motherfuckers. Most of you were probably like, oh, this is too hard or some shit. But That's besides the point. The Delta episode in itself makes up for what you are lacking from Battle Frontier not being in it. And don't get me wrong, I love the Battle Frontier in Emerald. Battle Frontier is amazing. It's fun. It's fun as fuck. I'll admit that. And I would have loved to have seen it return. But the quality of the game itself is not diminished solely because you didn't get Battle Frontier. It's a remake. It's going to be different. And Delta episode, and people are like, you might say, what's so fucking great about Delta episode? Well, if you motherfuckers knew how to read, you would understand that the story's fucking amazing. And let's not just act like there's a giant hole where Battle Frontier should be. We did get the Battle Resort, which is fun. There's a lot of fun stuff to do there. And I don't know, I just do not understand why people shit on these games, bro. Well, actually, I kind of do. It's kind of the same reason that I have for my theory on X and Y, I think. But basically, people are just dumb. They have bad opinions, and yeah. So I'm gonna put those games in S. I mean, anything with the Hoenn region is going to be at least S. The Hoenn region is just so amazing. If you don't fuck with it, if you don't fuck it up, if you just stick to the original story somewhat, like if you just have like the skeleton of the story from Ruby and Sapphire, you put that in any game with that region, oh, that great region, and the flow and the pacing, it's just so, it's smooth, it flows like the ocean, man. It's a work of art. So Hoenn region, always immaculate. Let's see, I haven't put anything in A yet. So, since we're talking about remakes, let's put Diamond and Pearl in A, because we need some motherfucking Diamond and Pearl remakes, bro. We need them. Kind of like, so this is similar to a couple games on the list that I've already talked about. Black and White, and that I would like to see remakes of these games, because I think there's a lot of potential for them to be actually amazing. Now with Black and White, it's kind of just like, I want to see these games be good. With Diamond and Pearl, it's like, I want to see these games be elevated to another level. And to an extent, I did see, well, not to an extent, I did see that with Platinum. I'm putting Platinum in the S tier, by the way. So, what is my issue with Diamond and Pearl? Diamond and Pearl has a lot, very similar to Black and White 2 and X and Y, has a lot of pacing issues in the first half. A lot of the gameplay is just very slow in Diamond and Pearl, especially like the surfing speed, for example. Oh man, it's so painful. It's painful. But amazing story. Team Galactic, maybe the best evil team ever. I don't know, Cyrus. Yeah, watch my Pokemon Platinum LP. You'll understand my views, my commentary. My views haven't changed on this game since 2013. It's amazing. Platinum is amazing. Diamond and Pearl had a lot of potential there, and Platinum fixed a lot of the issues. Fixed the pacing. Fixed the slow speed of gameplay. Introduced, like Distortion Realm, all kinds of neat little things. And I would really like to see the Diamond and Pearl remakes take these games, primarily be faithful to the Platinum version of them. Although if they do stick to Diamond and Pearl, I know they're going to fix all the same things that Platinum fixed. They're going to fix the pacing, walking speeds, or at least I would hope so. And I really would just love to see these games on the Switch with amazing graphics. I feel like those have potential to easily be S tier, easily. But Diamond and Pearl in themselves, once you get past some of the issues with really just the pacing and the speed, these games are amazing. Hoenn region had so many good Pokemon. Great games. I cannot talk shit. Or, did I say Hoenn? I'm so sorry. I mean Sinnoh. I got Hoenn on the mind 24/7. You know what it is. But I can't talk shit about these games at all. The Sinnoh region, amazing. Let's see. So, what do I want to do now? I'll go ahead and do a console game. I'm gonna do Battle Revolution. I'm gonna put Battle Revolution in C. Now, I think Battle Revolution is a fun game. I had a lot of fun with Battle Revolution back in the day, and I would love to see another game like Battle Revolution. I really would. But I think the Battle Revolution, as far as the console games on this list go, I think the Battle Revolution is the weakest game. It wasn't super memorable. Like, I can't remember much about the game. Like, it had shitty rental teams, but, you know, so did Stadium. Stadium had the worst fucking rental teams. So they carried that over into Battle Revolution. You know, it was a fun game, especially when the Wi-Fi was up for it, and you could, you know, do those epic battles. That was big shit at the time, like being able to see your Pokemon like that and being able to play over Wi-Fi on the big screen, battle people. It was really interesting. It was really fun. But I don't think that the game's aged very well. I don't think it has a lot of like replay value. Like, I don't find myself going back to it that much. You know, it's just kind of there. It was good for its time, and if we got something like it for this time, I would probably really enjoy it. I would definitely buy it at least. But I'm gonna put it in C just because, like, I don't hate the game, but it just didn't do much for me. I guess sticking on the subject of console games, I'll just go ahead and put Stadium and Stadium 2 in B. These games very similar to Battle Revolution, in my opinion, because these aren't the... I think they have a little bit more replay value than Battle Revolution, just because these games, they've got so many quirky little things about them, like the mini games. Like, you know, any generation, you can just sit down with your friends and just play these Stadium mini games for a while, and they're gonna be fun, they're gonna be charming, they're gonna be quirky, and it's gonna lead to some good times, some good laughs. The rental teams are awful. I will say these games have some challenge to them. I think that's one reason why I might put them above Battle Revolution. It's just they're more memorable just because some of the battles are fucking hard in these games, dude. Whereas Battle Revolution, I don't recall there being that much of a challenge in the actual story or like the campaign or whatever you want to call it. But man, these games have some hard battles, bro. Plus, you gotta respect that they did introduce the concept of like transferring your Pokemon from your mainline game over onto, you know, a game on the console. Which I guess that, you know, maybe saying you gotta respect something that a game did isn't that good of an argument, since I put the original games at the bottom. But Stadium's not that bad to look at, you know? Like, it doesn't hurt my eyes to look at Stadium, and yeah, what can I say? These games, they didn't age super well, but they aged well enough that, like, you know, even in 2019, you could still go back to them and have a lot of fun, especially with friends. So I put that there. Now, let's just go straight through. Let's finish these console games. You already know that Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness go straight into the S tier. Look, I know the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, we gotta separate these as being, you know, above the rest of the S's. But anything in the SS or S tier, I just want to clarify, I don't want to hear anyone talk shit about any of these games ever. You talk shit about these games, I'm coming for you on site. Do not talk shit about any game in the S or SS tier. Oh, Coliseum and XD. I could talk about these games forever, bro. They're so good. They're so good. These are amazing games. These are the best console games ever created. No, I'm kidding. But I'm kidding. That's not true. But these are the best Pokemon console games ever created. And I am frankly just in love with these games. I have put so many hours into Pokemon Coliseum, it's ridiculous. I would love to see, I wish I could see how many hours I have played of Pokemon Coliseum in my life. Boy. Just so many things about this. Great evil team. Great soundtrack. Such incredible, like, challenge compared to the mainline games. And it's not like a bullshit, like, artificial challenge. It's a genuine uh rewarding challenge. Like Greevil and XD Gale of Darkness, on God, that's the hardest battle in any game on this list. But it's so rewarding when you finally beat Greevil, man. So yeah, I put those games up there. I would kill for a third Ore region game. I would, if Nintendo like came out at E3, they would never do this, but if they came out at E3 and they were like, third Ore region game, I'd pass out. I'd scream. I would throw my money at the screen. I would pre-order that game the minute it was up. I just love these games, man. And a lot of people haven't played these games. I talked to a lot of people who are Pokemon fans and they just haven't played these games, bro. You gotta play these games. If you like Pokemon, you need to play these games. These are Coliseum XC, absolutely essential games. Alright, what do I have left? I'm gonna put, let's go Pokemon Elite in the C tier. Now, I think a lot of the criticisms of these games that I've heard are unfair, uncalled for, unjustified. And a lot of people are just butthurt and salty that Game Freak understands that they have a casual fan base. And, you know, these games, are they perfect? Fuck no. Are some criticisms legitimate? Absolutely. The catching mechanics, I don't like them. I don't think anyone likes the fucking Pokemon Go catching mechanics. They're dumb, they're gay, whatever. But man, I'm tired of hearing niggas talk like, oh, it's so easy. This is the same shit if people have said about Gen 6 and the Alola games. Like, oh, it's too easy. Here's a hot take for a video I might do in the future. I don't know if I could talk about it long enough to make a whole video, but let me just say it here. Pokemon isn't getting easier. You're just getting older. Now with Let's Go Pokemon Elite, it's a little different because it's like, yeah, they kind of intentionally made the game a little easier. That's kind of the point for the more casual fan base. But with like X and Y, ORAS, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, especially Ultra Sun and Moon, those games are not fucking easy, bro. Those are not a walk in the park, motherfucker. But like these people, like the people that say that like, oh, Pokemon got way too easy starting in Gen 6. This is part of my theory for why people hate Gen 6. The reason that, so the people that say this shit, it's because the reason is they like entered into like adulthood, or like, you know, they post post-pubescent stage of life right around the time these games were coming out. So of course they're mentally more developed. Obviously the games are gonna be fucking easier for you. You actually have a fucking prefrontal cortex now. Like, you know, they're obviously gonna be fucking easier than you know, Ruby and Sapphire were when you were fucking 6 years old or whatever. But that's a little off track. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. They're chill games, they're comfort games, you know, and there's a role for that. I personally enjoyed them. Not my favorites. Like I said, the Kanto region doesn't do a lot for me. There's certain characters from it that I like, and definitely a lot of Pokemon from the Kanto region I like. You know, I love Charizard, love Pidgeot, love Dragonite, love Jolteon. Tons of great Pokemon in the Kanto region. I can't shit on them. Yeah, these games, they're just the games that everyone loves to hate. But, you know, they're just average to me, I guess. I put them in C. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. Like, they were good holdover games for waiting for Gen 8. Because it's not like, I hope at least, these games don't dictate the direction that all of Pokemon is going to take from now on. And I feel like a lot of people that hate on these games kind of had a knee-jerk reaction thinking like, this is what Pokemon is now. But it's really not. You know, they can make games like this, but it's not what the series as a whole is going to be like now. And there are some functions in it that I would love to see introduced, and I think they are introducing, like in Sword and Shield, we saw in the trailer that there are Pokemon in the overworld. I think that's really nice. You know, hopefully it's not too cluttered or anything, but that I didn't think that was much of an issue in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I would like to see that in Sword and Shield. And everyone, oh shit, I just unplugged my headphones. Hold up. I hate when that shit happens. Everyone, for years after Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, they were like, oh dude, we need Pokemon following you to come back. And I agree, that's a really cool feature. But when are people going to give Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee their credit for that? They brought that shit back. So you motherfuckers wanted that feature for so long. Give credit where credit is due. There's a lot of good things in these games. Are they like the games that I think are essential to play? Hell no. I don't think anything from the Kanto region's that essential. Well, I mean, unless you count Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But, you know, it's a fun comfort game. So that's what I'll say. Why does my headphones do not want to fucking function right now? Do you see this? Do you see? I'm not pulling them out. I'm just like twisting them. I'm moving my body and the headphones won't stay in. Okay. Fucking. I guess since I just talked about Sun and Moon and people hating on Alola, I'll do those now. I put all the Alola games in A. All the Alola games go in A. I don't think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are that significantly different from Sun and Moon. I kind of consider them one body of games, but it's a pretty good body of games. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Fucking, excuse me. Sun and Moon. Those games came out. I played through them so quick. I was hooked on those games. I love a good story-driven game. And these games got stories for days. Amazing characters. Some of the best characters in the series. These games, what they do well, they do really, really well. And the criticism of these games are obviously bullshit. The games are not too easy, especially Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. You motherfuckers want difficulty? You can get some difficulty in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now, it's not Coliseum and XD difficulty, but there's some hard battles in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. There's, so many great Pokemon in the Alola region. So many. I love so many of the Pokemon from the Alola region. And you know, people talk about the cutscenes. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. Can you not read? Are you a fucking baby? You're like, oh, I have to do some reading. Do you people have ADHD? Did we all just collectively get ADHD? Like, did everyone who played Pokemon get ADHD? It's like, oh, a cutscene. Oh no. Like, yeah, sorry. Like, this is how people tell stories. Get over it. Learn to read. Now, I will say that the increased prevalence of cutscenes can diminish replay value a bit. That is one criticism that I think, to an extent, is true. Especially in the original Sun and Moon, where you have all these cutscenes, and when I was first playing them, I was hooked, like I said, because, you know, they didn't bother me at all. I loved the cutscenes, because it was like, I was so immersed in the story, and I just wanted to keep going. I just wanted to find out what was going to happen next, what needed to go on next, see what was going down. But when you go back and play it, already knowing the story, basically, and where it's going, and what happens next, you know, the cutscenes lose that hook. They lose their edge on you. So that's one thing to consider, I guess. But overall, these games are stellar. There's a few pacing issues maybe here and there. But overall, these games, the Alola region, I can't shit on it, man. It's really good. I really do enjoy the Alola region, and I'm going to miss it immensely, but I'm obviously very excited for Gen 8. The last games I want to talk about, I guess, by default, are Fire Red and Leaf Green. I would put these in B. I think of of the remakes, these are the weakest. I don't think these games have aged that well, to be fair. Why that is, I don't really know. Like, I don't know why these games in particular didn't age that well, at least in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd still rather play them than the originals, because you can actually look at these games, and there's a lot of things they do right. I think, as far as like just standalone Kanto games, I think these are the best versions. That feels weird to say because they're so low, but yeah, like I would rather play this than Red, Blue, Yellow, or even Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Well, I guess it would depend on the circumstance. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee I would rather play if it was I just wanted to straight chill and not do anything. But, you know, Fire Red and Leaf Green, if I was just really craving some good old fashioned Kanto, I would play those games. You know, the compatibility with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and Colosseum and XD, that of course definitely gets it a lot of bonus points for me. Especially because, I mean, you basically have to play through these games if you want to complete the decks in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And, you know, they were good companions for those games. They were, you know, they started the trend of making remakes. And there's not a lot that I really dislike about these games. Just, I guess I would just say it's what I dislike in general about the Kanto region. That it just doesn't do that much for me. But, you know, I've played through these games quite a bit, to be honest with you. I've played through these games a lot. And so, maybe I've just gotten worn out of the Kanto region. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm just fed up with it. But yeah, I think this is my rating of everything. So these are probably the correct opinions. You should probably take my word on this. And I'm very excited for Gen 8. I think that Gen 8 is probably going to end up being somewhere. Sword and Shield, I guess I should be specific. I think Sword and Shield is probably going to end up somewhere around the S region. Definitely going to be at least an A, I think. Alright, look, I said this in the reaction to the Sword and Shield Direct. These games are either going to be amazing, S tier, or they're going to be down here in D. They're going to be down here in Black and White. You know, they're going to be that bad. Because here's the thing. The hype that has been built up for Sword and Shield, at least for me, the last time I was hyped for a game that much, it's probably Black and White. I was so hyped up for Black and White. I was following all the news. You all know. You know the origins of this channel. I was so hyped up for Black and White, bro. And then they just fucking disappointed me so badly. It's crazy. But, so I do have some concern that Sword and Shield's going to do that. But I had the same concern with like Sun and Moon. Like, I was really hyped up for Sun and Moon. 2016, dude, I was so hyped for Sun and Moon, and I was worried. I was like, damn, this is feeling like Black and White. I'm worried they're going to disappoint me, but they did not. I put them in A tier. So I think Sword and Shield, we're probably going to be getting like an S tier game out of those. That's my prediction. Don't ask me about spin-off games besides the console ones I have on here. I wouldn't know where to rank them. I really like the Mystery Dungeon series. I like the Ranger series. I like a lot of the spin-off games, but there's also a ton that I haven't played, so I like this list. I like the ranking system they have. They have the SS to differentiate the best of the best from just the best. They have the D as the minimum because there's no F games, and they have, you know, what I would consider the core console games. So this is a good tier list, and I think that my opinions are absolutely correct. So thank you for watching this. Now you know what the correct opinions are on Pokemon games.